Now, the GCC states have every interest in preventing a war, okay? They're the ones who stand to lose the most from any shooting contest between us and the Iranians. We can, despite the number of personnel that we have in the regions, particularly in Iraq, we can still defend ourselves if there's, if bullets start flying. But they can't. The Gulf Arabs can't. They don't have strategic depth. They cannot absorb significant hits as the Iraqis did during the Iran-Iraq war, right? So all the Iranians have to do is, keep doing what they've been doing. Just operate below the threshold of war, right? Using asymmetric means. And if they're cornered, as Dina described, every now and then they'll lash out, they'll fire a few missiles or drones and cause total panic, right? That's all they need to do for the Gulf states to start feeling that they're existentially threatened. Now, the bigger worry for them is not just a shooting contest. It's the fact that you enter into that war without having any kind of guarantee or great confidence about the U.S. position regarding protection. I mean, that's what's worse about the war. Okay, if we were to stumble into a war, accidentally, deliberately, what have you, what is worse about it for them is that they don't know how quickly and how effectively we would come to their rescue. They understand that Desert Storm was a long time ago. Not only is the U.S. appetite today for such a massive military intervention greatly reduced, for all sorts of reasons that you know already, but the nature of the threat has changed. I mean, I don't see the Iranians rolling their tanks into an Arab Gulf capital and invading anybody or occupying anybody. The Washington Post ran an editorial just not too long ago saying that, are we going to risk the lives of our troops in Saudi Arabia just to defend the Saudis? And the answer was no to the Washington Post, obviously. If you ask that same question to many Americans today in a poll, I think they would probably reach the same conclusion. That's not what the Gulf Arabs want to hear. It's not that they, and most ironically, they're the ones who have been pushing for a tougher stance against Tehran. But now that they see that the Trump administration is leading them on a path to a war, not deliberately, but at least, by default, I mean, we are headed to military confrontation if there's no concessions whatsoever. For the next few months, which are going to be the trickiest, obviously, by the way, always whenever there's a political transition in Washington, this is where things get interesting in foreign policy, right? Adversaries and even us. If we're getting closer to a military confrontation, then the Gulf Arabs also have to wonder, not only do they not want a war and they want to avert one at all costs, but they have to think about if the Democrats win come January and then Joe Biden is sworn in, how deep do they want to go with the maximum pressure campaign between now and then? Because the farther they go, the harder the process of reconciliation is going to be with the Democrats.